Yeah, I'm not sure how many will join today because it's a Sunday and yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, and I hope you have something to share if no one asks any question.
No, I don't.
You don't have? Okay.
No, I haven't shared prepared anything.
Okay. So
Yeah.
we have one participant so far, Aruna. Uh,
Hey, hi, Aruf, hi, Raghu.
Hi, hi,
hey,
Runa. Welcome.
Yeah,
How are you?
I'm fine, Raghu. How are you doing?
Good, good. Thank you.
Yeah, I thought a lot of people will be joining, and this is my practice session with Arup and also with you, Raghu. At least with you, I just, I have seen your videos earlier. But Arup, Germany is a calling, that is a portal which I logged in and checked. So my first virtual talk with Arup as well. Yeah.
yeah, welcome. And we look forward to uh, hearing some interesting question from your side, probably.
Sure, sure. Let's wait. If others joins, we can continue. If not, I have questions to Raghu because I'm from the SAP background. So,
Awesome. Yeah. So we have one more person, one plus, I don't know.
one
Ambuj.
plus. Okay.
Hey, Ambuj,
Yeah, hello, how are you?
we are good.
Hey, Ambuj.
Hello, hello, sir.
Let's see. Some people have their calls today. I don't know. They're working on Sundays as well.
Oh no.
Yeah. Ooh, maybe we can get started then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's a
Yeah.
good idea.
And people can join in between and yeah, they can shoot their questions. So
Okay.
maybe Aruna or Ambuj, if you guys have questions, we will start with those and yeah, we'll see then.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. I came to Germany in October. I think in the month of October ending. But here I'm working for one of the global organization. Okay, as an SAP consultant. My question here is I'm on visa purpose, I'm on work permit here, like ITC we call, right? Inter-transfer
Mhm.
permit. So in case if at all I want to look for other opportunity within Germany, so am I eligible now? Like in this state, can I start looking into or what is the process? I hope if you are aware, you can let me know.
Yeah, so you said that you are here from an Indian company and you're working in their branch here in Germany, is it?
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's somewhat similar to what I went through. So I came also to Germany on a ITC visa.
Okay.
Um, and yes, you are eligible to apply to local jobs here. So if that is your question.
Okay. So once eligible means like fine. First criteria, I will be eligible to apply.
Mhm.
Then post to that in case if I get any offer, maybe around whatever timelines it is,
Yeah.
then do I need to go back to India or do I need to start something like, initial talks with the immigration here or it's not required?
Yeah, so if you are allowed to stay in Germany from your current company, then you can do everything here in Germany itself. You don't have to go back. But in most of the cases, your Indian company will ask you to go back because they have to pay you extra salary here, right? So they don't want to pay extra salary to a person who is leaving them.
Oh, okay. Okay. I got
Yeah.
it. So,
So usually they
then,
ask the person to go back to India and work there throughout their notice period, which is I think 3 months in general.
mhm.
And for those 3 months, you will be in India and you have to apply for a visa from India itself in that case.
Okay, so you mean to say like now it's like again trying from India itself. I need to go to the Indian embassy and apply for the new ITC.
No, you have to apply for an employment visa because now you have an employment contract
Uh-huh.
from a German company, right?
Okay.
So
Yeah,
once
yeah.
Once you get selected in a German company, you will get a employment contract, and based on that contract, you can apply for an employment visa.
Okay. So,
Yeah,
then
which
it's
is
like a
generally
new,
the blue card
is it like
application.
a new start, right? If that is the case?
Yeah, it's a new start. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, I simply put the advantage that you will have, Aruna, that you are here. That's the advantage you have. Otherwise, in my opinion, the process, everything else remains the same. That how other people who get a job from India follow. I think it will pretty much be the same process for you, except that you will have an advantage of appearing for more interviews, or I don't know if they're still doing in-person interviews.
Okay.
You can appear for an in-person interview. That would be the advantage. But besides that, in terms of visa processing or getting things smoother or faster, I don't see any advantage. But yeah, there is definitely advantage because you're already here. You know a little bit about the SAP market, and you know how a little bit how Germans work.
Okay. But when it comes to the visa perspective, then, for example, new employer, he will just give us the offer letter, right? Or all supporting documents will be given by him to apply for the visa? He will help us in all the documents?
Yeah.
Yes. So, okay. So what happens is they will give you an employment contract, and there is another document. I forgot the name. It is basically to tell that they could not find anyone who is a German guy, and for that reason they are hiring you. So whenever they hire an international candidate, they have to give that document. So that's also easy. I think it's called ZAV.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So these two documents are important, and other than that, I don't think there is much to do here.
Okay.
And most companies, what I mean, at least some companies, what they do is they hire an external consultants who kind of guide you through the process. Of course, they can't influence your visa processing or anything, but they will guide you through the process, helping you find the documents. But it's not a difficult task at all. It's very easy. There are so many people that have done on their own. And compared to most countries, I think the checklist is very transparent, and you can easily do it by yourself. Of course, uh, once you are in that situation, I'm sure a lot of people in the group would come forward to assist you with any questions. Maybe sometime later we can also do a Q&A on this.
Okay. Okay.
And
Thank you.
if you get a job here in Germany and your current employer allows you to stay here for say 1 month or so, then what you could do is the very next day you can ask for an appointment in the local registration office, and maybe you get an appointment in the next 15 days or something. If that happens, then you don't have to apply for a visa in India.
Oh,
Wow.
okay. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
that's
Wow,
really
I
good
didn't
to
know that.
know.
I
Arup.
tried that actually, but in my case, I got it after 1 month, and I had to go back to India by that time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. This, I think, if in terms of our employment here, if we are really working for the customer, and I think they will allow us to stay. Anyways, we
That
can look
depends.
that, in the future. Yeah. It depends
Yeah.
upon the case. Yeah. And maybe the next question, in case if you want to take with others, you can. But if not, I have one more question for Raghu. And this is related
Sure.
with the SAP. Yeah. Raghu, how about this SAP HANA market now here in Germany? Because most of our, the customers here right now, they may be on the ECC. And the next future for us, it's nothing specific to the HCM, but with respect to the other modules as well. How is the demand for SAP migration projects, or how is the demand for SAP HANA, by the way, going forward?
Yeah, it is in very good demand based on what I've analyzed over the last 6 to 7 months, because SAP has said in a way that they're going to stop supporting R3 or ECC for after a few years, and people, at least for that part, are slowly migrating to S4 HANA. But I've also heard people who are experienced in this region tell me that it's difficult for the public enterprise to switch to S4 HANA because they don't really want to invest, and SAP being a German company, they don't want to lose customers. So they are supporting, but most of the private setup, they're all interested to move to S4 HANA. So definitely there is a good demand. In fact, I myself am considering to upskill myself in S4 HANA. So I kind of can help my team in my organization implement and go forward also. That's the plan I have for myself, at least in the coming years. Yeah, to summarize, it is in good demand.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for that. Yeah.
No
Okay,
problem.
then does anyone else have any questions? Maybe actually our topic of today was CV, resume, and cover letter. So if
Yeah.
anyone has questions related to that, we will take it up first, and then we will move to other topics. No one has queries about cover letter or CV?
Okay, so yes, I have the
Okay.
question one. So what exactly is the mean of cover letter?
Yeah. So I'll add based on what I've experienced and what I've seen, and maybe Anoop will also be able to add a few points to this. See, cover letter is basically think of it like a wedding card, simply put. So you're telling in short who you are, and also how your skills match to the job description. It's as simple as that. So you have to put your cover letter in such a way that you display the interest that you like the company, and your skills match with the job description. That is a simple definition of a cover letter.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I don't have much experience with cover letter because I don't remember using one. But I think it's just like an introductory letter or something wherein you just give a high level overview of who you are and why are you applying to this job. And yeah, it's just like an introduction of yourself and yeah, why you're applying to the job, maybe. But I'm not sure about this because I've never used a cover letter so far.
Yeah. Maybe to add just to the benefit of everyone, what I suggest, of course, you may have your own way of doing cover letters, but based on my experience, I think what works well is a structured cover letter. So I recommend that you divide it into 3 parts. So the first part, you tell about yourself at the top. So you have to address the recruiter, of course. If you don't know the gender of the recruiter, which in most cases it's difficult to know, you're welcome to write dear first name, last name. That's still accepted. So you address the recruiter. After you address the recruiter, you give a short 2-line introduction about yourself. You say who you are, where you work with, and what is your experience. Just in 1 or 2 lines. That's your introduction. The heart and the core of the letter is in the middle, where I recommend that you put how your skills match the job description. Oftentimes, what I've seen most people do is they generally put their skills, but they often fail to match it with the requirement in job description. As an example, if you know Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel, and PowerPoint, for example, and in the job description they say the candidate should be really good with Microsoft PowerPoint, and if you fail to mention that, the recruiter clearly thinks this candidate is not fit for the role. So oftentimes go through the job description very clearly. There are like 10 bullet points in the job description as an example. See how many of those skills you match with you, and try and paraphrase those skills. Don't use the same exact words. Try and paraphrase them, put it in a different way, so that you convey the recruiter that your skills match the job requirement. So it can be, as an example, you can say, I'm really good with PowerPoints. I've made 5 presentations over the last 1 year. These were presented in different meetings. That's the first bullet point. Second bullet point about your second skill matching with the job requirement. So in the body of the the heart or the core of the cover letter, make sure you put bullet points, because when you put the paragraph, it becomes really difficult for anyone to comprehend. Bullet points usually gather someone's attention. Assume yourself you're reading the cover letter, you would want it to be very simple, right? And short, and it conveys the right meaning. So in the heart, you put bullet points match with the job description. At the end, convey to the recruiter that you are interested in working with the company, why you are interested. For example, for some people, it's a domain. Some people like working in banking domain. Some people like working in the healthcare domain. You can also say that. And then you tell them that you're welcome for a discussion, and that they can have a discussion with you. And if you're in a different time zone, also mention that this is your preferred timing and how you would like to be contacted. Do you want to be contacted by phone or email? How you want to be contacted. So simply put, you address the recruiter, then you give a little introduction, then you write something in bullet points, preferably about how your skills match the job description. And then towards the end, you welcome the recruiter for a call or an email exchange to know more about you. And then you simply sign off. Then what I recently thought after having a couple of discussions with Anoop is, you could do a little bit research about the company and see how you could add value to their products or to their services. So if you think, based on your experience, that this service in this company could improve a little bit, you can also write towards the end how you can do it. You don't really need to have an answer, but at least the approach or your intention that you would want to do it really differentiates you from the other
Okay. Okay, I got it.
Yeah, and also I just remember one point. So this is coming from the discussion which I had with Rolf. He's also a recruiter as well as a professor here in Germany. So he suggested that whenever he receives a cover letter with the first line as "Dear Sir" or "Madam," that means it's a generic cover letter, and he always throws it into the dustbin. So make
Yeah.
sure that you address the person with his name, his or her name, and have specific cover letter for each job application. Don't use the same one
Yeah.
for all of the applications that you apply for. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
That's a really valid point. I also, at the beginning, I also used the same cover letter for every job. I didn't get too many responses.
Yeah.
Whether the response was positive or negative, I didn't get any responses. That's when I realized, imagine if I were a recruiter, would I like just a generic cover letter which doesn't have my name addressed or doesn't match my skills with the job description? So that's when I got to action and changed it a little bit and started to see a little difference.
Yeah.
Okay.
So any other questions?
Yeah, you did not mention anything like the language preferences in the cover letter. It is not required, or like if we are we speak only English, like so is it required to mention that basic learning German or something in the cover letter or not?
Again, I would rate it's to me, if you ask, I think it really depends on the context. If the job really says you have to have German skill but you still want to apply, right? You really like the company, you really like the role, and you really want to show that you are in the direction of learning German. I would say just put it. It may make a little difference, but you just have to try it. I don't think it's nothing like a rule that prohibits you from doing, but if you think it makes sense and you really like the company, and in spite of being basic level in German language, you still want to apply, I think you can put it here.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so to add to this point, I also have one example from my experience where I applied for a job in Germany. So when I was applying, I was learning A1 German using this app called Duolingo. And I mentioned that in my chat with the recruiter. I told him that I'm doing this basic level of German learning on my own, which I think helped me in telling that I'm willing to learn German to get into a company here. So I think that's a plus point, and it's good to mention that if you are doing something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Besides, what I also did was to the job that I'm currently working now in the company. So I prepared a 4 or 5 liner short introduction about myself in German. At that point, I had no basic idea, nothing about German. So I watched like a few hours of YouTube videos and gathered some information and wrote it down myself. And I practiced it, I by hearted it, and then I practiced it in front of a mirror. And then when there was a call, I told my manager and the HR that, hey, can I give you an introduction in German? I prepared a little bit. And that really shows that you want to be associated with the company, that you're interested in the role. It kind of really sets you apart from the other candidates. I would say this is not like a gimmick or a trick, but it's a value add. It's you're trying to add value in every step of your application, in every step of your candidature.
Yeah. So, any other question? We have Govardhan and Subhash now.
Hey, hi Anoop. Hi Raghu.
Hey, Govardhan.
So,
Hey,
hi.
Gautam.
Hi. I don't have any questions on resume uh, uh, or a cover letter, but I do have question on screening round. So you might have gone through the screening interview. So, like, could you please share your experience if we are okay to take it to screening round?
Raghu, would you like to start?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So when you say screening round, it's the initial round, the very
Yeah.
first round that you have with your whoever it is. It could be HR, your manager, or anyone.
Yeah.
So I'll share my experience. My experience was my manager had this introductory call with me where they wanted to understand basically what I was doing. It was nothing technical, nothing about my skills. Of course, they asked me what skills I was good at, but it was not a technical evaluation. So to me, it was more of what I've been doing, what I have learned, what I like doing, what I see as challenges in my role, and how I would like to grow in the future. So if I memorize this correctly, I always kind of prepared for this. I thought first I will give a little introduction about myself personally, and then a little bit about my career, and then what are the significant achievements I made in my career. And because most times we appear for an interview, but I personally think most candidates don't write down their significant achievements. When you, for example, as an example, you say I've received XYZ award or XYZ certificate in as an employee of the month, quarter of the month, but they fail to explain why they got it. Because it's really the action that makes a lot of sense to someone who wants to know you. It's not the award or title as such. So if you tell them, hey, I did this activity, I was a part of the team, and in the team I did this activity, and this created this result. So that really tells what was your contribution to that activity. So just coming back, so personal introduction, professional introduction, and a little bit of work-related challenges and significant achievements that you have done, and a little closing statement of what you can contribute and how you see yourself in the next few years. Though the recruiter doesn't ask you, it's a good idea to first prepare yourself and say what you want to do for the next 5 years or 2 years or 10 years. It could be short term or long term. So this is what I would suggest. If you have an opportunity in the initial evaluation, But again, if the evaluation is more technical, then this doesn't apply. It really has to be a technical evaluation.
Yeah, so I can also share my experience. So when this was the screening round for me, it was actually combined with the technical round. So both the HR and the CTO, they were both present in the call. And the first round was actually a combination of both. So it was a video call just like this one. And the first question was obviously all the time for me is like, tell us about yourself and explain what you are doing on a day-to-day basis. So I always use that question to explain everything about me, everything which I know, and also try to tell them all the experience that I have gained so far. So based on those experiences and the skill set, they further create more questions and ask questions based on those. So always try to speak only those keywords which you are really confident about. So that's my one point where I do not use those keywords or technical jargons which I'm not confident about, because otherwise they will start asking questions from those. So make sure you only touch on those points. And then the second round, which was also part of the same video call, was a little bit more technical, wherein they went deep into some technical topics like how do you use this particular tool, and do you know about this particular thing? If yes, then how do you use that and all that. And I think it's usually like that because they don't have much time to schedule 2 or 3 meetings with the same person. So they try to combine both the technical as well as the screening round in one call or one face-to-face interview. And after that, I had my proper technical evaluation, which was coding round. And yeah, of course, I was given some time to write 2 or 3 programs, and I had to submit that within that time frame. So yes, that's how this interview went for me.
Yeah, thanks, Anup. Thanks, Raghu. So I have one more question. So means I have seen it while applying to company, they ask for the salary expectations. So there is a particular means I have seen it while applying for a couple of companies in Germany. So there is a specific field which says what are your salary expectations and how soon you can join us. So these two fields, as like right now I'm in India, so I can say I want 30% hike or 40% hike, but it's very difficult. Yeah, for me at least, it's very difficult to like I don't know how to evaluate my value in German, like in Germany. So that is one question I face, and means, I also seen like in screening interview only they ask what are your salary expectations, and so how to handle that question. To be more specific, is it good idea to say particular number, or should we say the range? Within that range, I am looking for the salary between that range, or it is good to avoid that question? Will that impact in negative way? Because if someone doesn't know their salary, sorry, their value, so would that be a negative point of someone, or the like?
Yeah.
Your thoughts on it?
No.
Yeah, I got your point. So maybe Raghu will be able to explain it more, but I can tell you my perspective. So when I was in Germany, I actually came just like Aruna shared her experience, right? So I was a part of an Indian company, and they moved me to Germany for a period of 3 months. So when I was working here with the Indian company, I got the salary as per the German rules. So I already knew that how much I'm getting per month, and based on that, I was able to negotiate with my new employer. But since you are working in India, you do not have a salary to talk about. So maybe it's better to do an online research and see how much the people of the same experience that you have are getting in Germany, and based on that, you negotiate with the employer instead of saying increase 30% from my current salary or something, because that will not be enough to survive in Germany. Yes,
True.
maybe Raghu, you can add on this.
Yeah. So I also share my experience and what I think works best in most cases. For me, this question was not asked, even until they said I was selected. They did not ask me this question, and they gave me a certain figure, and it fell in the range that I was that I had for myself after a lot of analysis. So I was kind of okay. But what I recommend is, if you start with a couple of websites. There is a website called payscale.com. There is also Glassdoor. There is also LinkedIn salaries. These are three areas where you can get a very close and approximate estimate of the salary ranges for your skill or for your job title, and also with your experience. So you put your experience, you put your job title, and it gives you a little bit of a range of how much you can get. Also remember, the salary ranges will differ from city to city or state to state. An area where cost of living is relatively expensive, maybe like big cities like Berlin or Frankfurt, you might get a little more salary. But for the same role, if you're in smaller cities or smaller town, you might get a little less salary, because it all factors into cost of living. So do that analysis, and I'm sure there will be a range. It's never the case that I've heard that there will not be a range available for your role. It's even possible that on Glassdoor, in the company that you're going to appear and interview for, there are people with similar roles who share their salary ranges anonymously for the sake of reporting. So you can, you can always find it that way. You can go to Glassdoor and type the name of the company and the role, and it will give you a range if someone made that input. But otherwise, Payscale and LinkedIn salaries and Glassdoor salaries, these are the three sources where you can get a lot of information.
Yeah.
And then if you're in the interview, and I recommend that if you're comfortable sharing the range, share it. But if you think that sharing a range might affect your job prospects, just simply say, I have done some analysis, but because I'm not here, I don't know, and this is what I believe is the range, but I may be wrong. So I think there is no trick to play here, but being upfront and honest will actually make it very easier. So if you know for sure, if you're after a lot of analysis, you say, okay, this is my range, I'm good with it, then go for it. If you're really not sure, then simply say, hey, I'm not too sure, but maybe this is the range I think it works well for me.
Yep. Thank you.
No problem.
Hi, Anoop. Hi, Raghu.
Hi, Subhash.
This is Subhash.
Hi, Subhash.
Hi. First of all, thank you for doing this. I've been following only very recently, but I didn't realize that people from India can search for a job in Germany directly. And your site is helping really, and it has valuable resources to follow. My question is, I am an SAP PS consultant. I have 4.5 years of experience in that, and I've switched a company and I worked on SAP PM, plant maintenance, and now in the same company I switched to SAP PPM, which is portfolio and project management. I'm wondering if I should be. And this SAP PPM is very new.
Yeah.
It's since January I've started working on it. I'm wondering if I should be looking for PPM directly or the PS, which is my further one. I mean, the former skill. And also, I see the role called Berater.
Yeah, consultant.
That's a consultant or analyst? Yes.
Berater is consultant.
Okay. Okay.
Berater is consultant.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know the German term for analyst, but Berater is definitely consultant.
Okay. Since my role has this variation of skills, and I have done further additional roles as well in my first company, will that be a fetching for an SAP consultant? Because usually people will be asking relevant experience more, and I'm sure you must have faced this because you have 15 plus years experience on, you'll be switching roles and also modules if would that scenario be welcome with the recruiters?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, maybe I'll try to answer your question in a different way. I'm into SAP HCM module, and in SAP HCM there are different sub modules. And my area of strength is really one sub module, which is payroll, for example, where I'm really good at it. But the other modules, I'm good at it, but not as really good as payroll module. And that's what really I told in my interview, that hey, this is a skill I'm pretty good at, but the others I can do. It's just a bit of learning curve where you have to learn a little bit and know about it. So out of these two, PM and PPM that you mentioned, you really have to know what your core skill is. Like, you are really, really, really good at this. Could it be PPM, or is it PM, or is it something else? And that's exactly what you tell in the interview. Of course, it's difficult to know completely looking at a job advertisement. It may not be very evident for you, but you should know for yourself which is your strength, and that is what you mentioned in your interview or hiring process. Strength does not really equal to your experience. You may have worked 4 or 5 years on a certain module, but still your core strength is some other module. So that's what you really have to say.
Yes. My question is, are most of the jobs permanent jobs in Germany or contract jobs? Because if it's in Singapore, they're majorly contract jobs. That's why.
In the field of SAP, it's more the most jobs are on freelance side.
Okay.
People prefer to do freelancing because it pays more and there is a flexibility. But it's really hard to say in numbers or in perspective also that more jobs are short term. But usually they will tell you in the job advertisement itself if it's a short term or a long term contract. If they don't mention anything, it means it is a full time indefinite contract. But usually they do mention that it's a short term or 6 months, 12 months project. After 12 months, we will consider it. But if I have to also look into the future and say, do people get hired after 12 months or do people continue? I don't know. It's difficult to say.
Okay. And if one is moving with family, what are family's requirements? Like, will it be assessed based on families? I mean, if my wife is fluent in Germany also, or is that not needed?
Yeah, maybe Anoop can also add to this. If your salary falls above 56,000 or 51,500 euros for the year, I think that's the new figure for 2021. Then, and if you're a skilled worker, then you get something called a blue card. And for employees who are eligible for blue card, their spouses don't need to have a German skill for their visa application.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right. So if you are eligible for a blue card, you can come with your family here and stay as long as you have the employment contract. And if you then want to apply for a permanent residence, the PR, then there are more eligibility criteria, like you have to be here for 3 years or something, and also have some A1 level of German knowledge.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I also came to know that insurances are really required in Germany, and for example, even when we enter into contact with for house rental, also we should be paying some insurance so that legally we won't be suffering, because if something breaks and all.
Yeah.
I have experience with that.
Okay.
Yeah, I have experience with that. So insurance is a really important consideration in Germany, especially if you're in a new country and where a lot of legal system and bureaucracy is there. It's really important place to have an insurance. So it's a vast topic. We could in fact do like 1 hour or 2 hour session about it.
Okay.
But
Okay.
simply put, there are different types of insurance based on what you want to cover. If you break something, let's say if you run into your bicycle into someone else's car and you damage the car, then there's something called private liability insurance. You own a something in your house and it gets damaged, then you have household insurance. Then if you're in a legal problem, there is legal insurance. So these are apart from health insurance, these are the most broadly talked about insurances.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we have Aruna with the question. So go ahead, Aruna.
Yeah, I have a question on this resume. Generally, if we don't have some specific formats for Indian websites, but here I understand, on the very broader level, they say we should have the photograph, and that also the photograph in one particular style or whatever they were referring to. That's the first thing. What should be the picture which we have to put it in the resume, and the same thing, how many pages exactly we should have it, or what are the important what we'll say sub paragraphs it should go, how many what education details, organization details, or our personal skills. So all these things includes how many pages it should come, and major focus in case if you are preparing a resume, what should we put it to. So this is my question. And again, somewhere I have seen that, Europa.eu, that is a website Raghu has recommended. So how to do, I have just gone through it, but it says upload your CV or create your profile. So a bit more points on those things. No?
Yeah.
As in a beginner, what should we know?
Sure. Maybe I will start with Europa CV format, because I've realized that format really suits well if you want to have a structured resume. So I've also used Europa CV just to try it out how it is, and it more or less aligned to what I did in my original resume. So you go to Europa CV website, and I would recommend that you don't upload a resume, but start creating a resume, because it is going to give you, it's like a configuration wizard where you type next and type everything to next, and at the end it will give you a beautiful CV format. So just go with that. In terms of the content, maybe let's start from the top at the beginning. So the first thing that you would want to put on any resume is definitely your photograph. It can be any photograph, because I put my selfie, but of course it shouldn't be funky or odd, or avoid side poses. Try and be a front facing picture. The quality also matters. Don't put blurred out photographs or that have low quality, because everything from your cover letter creates an impression, or from your CV creates an impression. So have a really, really good photograph. It doesn't have to be in a professional environment, but it's a good quality photograph where things are not blurred out, your face is clearly visible. And there are definitely formats in circular shape and everything that you can always use. And then there is, in the Europa CV format, gives you an option, just like LinkedIn profile. It gives you an option to put a 2 or 3 liner about yourself. Really use this place to say, define your important skills, where you say you have X years of experience and your core strengths are skill 1, skill 2, and skill 3. So imagine that is like your advertisement, where people should feel to buy the product or to hire you in this scenario. Then you little bit talk about your experience and everything. Also avoid putting any duplications, where you say you worked on a certain skill task in this project. There's no need to put the same thing again in a different project, because it's evident that you have done it and you know it. If you want to emphasize that you are really good at it, you have to put it under skills, and you can give a scale of how really good you are. And Europa CV also has that. Towards the end, it will give you skills, and you can also say how good you are at that skill. And also language skills. You can also say, I'm really good at English. So to put it really together, Europa CV format gives you that really nice structured way, no matter how unorganized your existing data is, it puts it in an organized format. But what really matters is the content, where you avoid duplication, where you really put the key tasks that you worked on. And again, you don't really have to put your project name also, because I only put the industry of the client that I was working for, because most times organizations don't want you to reveal their client names, their customer names. So you can say my customer is from so-and-so domain, banking domain, retail domain, manufacturing setup. So it really gives them the idea your varied experience. So yeah, so avoid duplicates, and as much as possible use Europa CV format.
Yeah, and I've also posted a link to a LinkedIn course which helps you write a technical resume. So I went through this one and I really liked the whole content. You can also give it a try. So Manu, you have a question? Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi, Anoop.
Hi.
Hi, Manu.
Raghu. Hi. Raghu, this was regarding the, I had posted a question to you a couple of days back on Discord server. So
Yeah.
thought I would ask this in this call as well, probably to get a little more idea on that. So I am looking for a good, or I was actually going behind the good cover letter format. And yes, you actually shared one with me. I had a doubt that what if, is there a problem with having bullet points in the cover letter? And so and you responded that it could actually work well, because it tries to put the focus on what you have done exactly, and what you mentioned. So my question is that when you design out, when one person designs a cover letter, I have seen a few formats. So this part is fine. This bullet point thing is fine. But I have seen so many different fancy cover letter formats.
Yeah.
So and then you have this very basic, your plain letter kind of format for cover letter. So should we stick to that, or do you think we should go for a more fancier kind of thing?
Yeah.
To be why I have come, how I have come to this question is that I have a particular one particular format of resume that I use, and
Yeah.
I've got it from other people who have also tried applying, and that looks good for me. And then that is actually a very even Anoop has shared that to our that he talks about resume formats and all that particular blog. So that is listed in that standard Microsoft template only. And this is actually the cover letter format of that resume. So they generally have one, they'll have one type of document. Very similar format of cover letter and the resume. So that is kind of fancy compared to my older cover letters, which was very plain. Now, should I? What do you think? Should we go for fancier ones, or should we stick to what is very standard when it comes to cover letter?
Yeah, my recommendation is to switch it up a little bit and make it look really appealing.
Okay.
But at the same time, also need to make sure that if you are using a little bit of fancy design, you really use the space in the cover letter. For example, let's say imagine this is the entire page. On extreme left, there is just one color and there's nothing there. That's really a dead space.
Correct.
You try and put some information there, maybe your contact details or something else. So it's definitely okay to go with the fancy one. But yeah, of course, I'm sure when you look at it, oh, this is too much now. It has too much of jazzy things, and it doesn't really make sense. So try and strike a balance, but definitely avoid the blank ones, because 80 out of 100 people do the plain ones, just like your regular A4 size white color thing. But the moment you add color and do it in a PDF, it really, really creates that appeal. Because of course, the skills do really matter. But what's the first thing? If you are a recruiter, the first thing that you see, you look at a very well-designed, nice-looking cover letter. You say, this is different. Let me read.
Correct. That visual cue, right? That visual cue.
Yeah, exactly. That really makes. This is not driven with or any data. It's basic human attraction to nice looking things. Yeah.
Correct. So is it okay to put your photo in cover letter, or I'm saying this because again the template.
I put it.
Oh, great. Okay, in the cover letter.
I put it. Yeah, I put the cover letter. I put my photo in the cover letter.
So I have my photo in my cover letter as well as in my resume. So yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So, and of course, I'm sure it's the same photo.
Oh yes, absolutely, yes. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and also on the photo, I know a couple of people who put a photo that they took when they were like in their 20s.
And they were a different person.
And now they're
okay.
So please avoid that. It doesn't really have to be a beautiful photo. It just have to be a current photo.
Yeah, it has to be the correct photo.
Yeah.
So that is one thing that actually
for everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. So that is one thing that I was kind of stuck at. So I was thinking, would that be an overkill to put a photo in both my cover letter and in my resume?
No. I don't think so at all.
Okay. So that is all from my side. Thank you.
No problem.
You're welcome. So I think as per the schedule, we have 4 more minutes. So one more question. Anyone?
Yes, I forgot to say this. I already sent my resume and cover letter to Raghu asking for some review and comments on it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he lost the draft he wrote for me with the comments.
Oh.
Yeah, I'll reach you back, Raghu, after some time.
Sure, Subhas.
Yeah. So Raghu, one tip for this is you can always start these kind of work in your Google Drive. So it will remain saved all the time. So you won't lose anything.
I put it in the Discord and I typed it and I copied somewhere and.
Okay.
Yeah. Good idea. I'll do that. Yeah.
Yeah, last question. Anoop, somewhere you mentioned that, if the job description is in German, please do not apply it if our resumes are in English. So
Yeah.
can you just, because, see, always we use this translate. So when we translate, we don't know whether it is in German, automatically it will be in English only. Any tip here how to find out if the jobs are only for German specific? Any tips, Arup?
So what do you mean it's automatically translated? Because by default, it will show you the original language, right? As long as you don't manually translate it.
No, not manually. I think there is I think whenever we go for the searching of the resume, like jobs, when we put for the translate, it will go into the English, LinkedIn or wherever. Okay, because I'm facing that problem because of maybe my mobile setting, or then I'll just look into it.
Yeah, I got your question, I think. So by default, our Chrome translates some of the German pages into English. So maybe that's what you're saying. Yeah, okay. So I would say to keep it turned off and don't apply to the ones which are in German.
Okay.
Because otherwise they expect you to know some basic knowledge of German, and if you don't know that, then I think it's pointless to apply to those jobs.
Okay, I got you. Yeah.
Again, I also had someone tell me just yesterday that usually in German job advertisements, maybe Anoop, you tell me if I'm wrong or right, I don't know. This just what I've heard, may not be true. Job descriptions usually have something called MFD and MWD.
Okay.
I'm not sure if
okay. So the M/W/D.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have no idea what this means.
That means they are hiring either a male, female, or irrespective of the gender.
Okay, but
So
WD means
neutral. Maybe the other one is for the international thing. Maybe. Yeah,
exactly. That's what someone told me, that if you see MFD, it really means that they're okay to take someone outside the country, and WD means, hey, just our guys. I mean, this is what they told me, but I have no source of information or no reference for this.
I'll do some research on this because my employer also does this. So I'll check with them. Yeah.
Maybe you can reach out to in your network and get some solid information, because it really helps. Most people don't know, or at least I didn't know, that these jobs are only for Germans, these jobs are only for that country nationals, and this is for everyone. Yeah,
that's a good point. Yeah. Okay. So I think that's all for today. And thank you, Raghu, for your valuable time on a Sunday.
Yeah, no problem.
And all other guys, thank you for your questions. And I hope all the answers that Raghu and I provided a little bit on, so will be helpful for you. And we wish you good luck and hope to see you soon in Germany.
Yeah. And thanks for getting us together on this, Anoop.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Raghu. And
Thank you, Raghu.
have a
Thank
nice
you, everyone.
day.
Yeah.
Have a nice day. Bye.
Bye.